what has been your highest moment and your lowest moment in life?
So, okay, so there have been maybe like two high moments. Moja nilivyokuambia ni wakati wa kuoa.
Ndio.
So that was a very high moment. The other time was when you know, when I learned that I could actually take my PhD. In terms of low moments, there are many, but I'll name two. Moja ni when I lost, you know, the love of my life, Mercy. That was hard. It took me a long time to even realize that I could move on again. But another time is I'd applied a job. This is recurrent. I've applied like 6 or 7 times and let down. But this one time, I did the interview. I was even given leakage kwamba nilipita. I was the only one that passed, but I never saw the job. When I realized that it is because of my handicap, hiyo ilinishusha moyo sana. Ilinishusha moyo.
Asante sana mwiroreri wa metha ya Kagoni ni gucagura channel ya metha ya Kagoni. Njitagwo Monica Kagoni na umuthi ni ukujitekeria tutukanie thiomi hanini muno, tukwaria Gikuyu, twarie Githungu, twarie Githweri, tondu mugeni uria twi nake no akoronde kuhota Gikuyu giothe, so aria giguthirira umwitikirie arie na Githungu kana Githweri. No mbere ya ngumenyithitie no mwiroreri, ni ngwenda gukumenyithia turugamirirwo ni kambuni ya wendia wa migunda yoikaine ta AMG Realtors. This month of April nituraheana eka ithano kuri we ukoretwo ukigithia na AMG Realtors. For every 50,000 you spend, you have earned yourself 1 point to the draw. Koguo thie na mbere, angikorwo ni mugunda urarihira waku thire, thie na mbere na kurihira thire. Aikorwo nduigithitie na AMG, thie na mbere na kuigithia na AMG, no utuike muhotani wa eka ithano kuria mwena wa Nanyuki. Oroho ngatho cia mwanya ni kunyitwo guoko ni Bountiful Safaris, kambuni ya ugendi. Kimera giki kia Easter ni kurenda gucera ni Mombathai, ugie na beach experience, kana urenda a bush experience, uthie kuria mwena wa Savo, Masai Mara, Olpajeta, kuria guothe ungienda guthie, tikira kwaraniria na Bountiful Safaris na namba ino tukwandikiire haha uguo. Now mugeni uria ndinake muthenya wa umuthi na riu njitikirie jeje ruga hanini jarie na Githungu is a household name, an award-winning gospel music artist who has been awarded with the State Award, Order of Grand Warrior. He's also a media personality and a leader. You know him. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Reuben Kigame. Karibu sana.
Amen. Amen.
Karibu sana.
Ukinya metha ya Kagoni.
Karibu sana.
Ni metha njega.
Ni waragia Gikuyu.
Kikingi ni kiria kia kuhoya mai.
Kiu ni gia kira kuhoya mai.
Yeah, njitagwo Reuben Kigame. Ni muhonoku. Na de witu ni Vihiga. Lakini jikaraga Eldoret.
Good.
Kie sawa?
Ege sawa pio.
Okay.
Woka Mount Kenya ni ukuhoya kura na Gikuyu.
Kidogo.
Karibu sana Reuben
Asante
Kigame.
Asante.
We are happy to have you.
Amen.
So you've said you were born in Vihiga County?
Yes, and then grew up kule Kisumu. Alafu nikasomea Thika. Na nikaoa Kirinyaga. Sasa ninakaa Eldoret. Uasin Gishu County.
So ni kama umetembea hii nchi kila mahali.
Mimi ni Mkenya kabisa. Nchi nimetembea. Sitadanganya, nimetembea sana. Tangu nikiwa teenager, na mambo ya injili, na mambo ya ualimu, na mambo ya media, na vile vile mambo ya social activism. Todo dare mwalimu na kou Mary Hill na kou Kiambu.
Kiambu.
Yeah, and then na thukuru ingi etagwo Madira Secondary School na kou Vihiga. Na Dare mtangazaji kwa Radio Citizen ikiabereria na nini Daruta wira family radio mwaka umwe 2001 and then Gietuo Hope Media. Nie area among those walioanzisha Hope Media.
You really speak very good Kikuyu.
Garuta nao mwaka umwe and then 2004 geigua calling guthie na kou Eldoret guikara na kou tondu ministry yakwa ya apologetics na kuina na guthomithia especially youth maundu ma music na life skills especially boy child dutagira na kou Eldoret. Yeah,
so
like before 2004 ndare haha Nairobi so demo Kenya
kabisa.
Total Kenyan. Yeah.
So Reuben, you've told us you've lived in Kisumu. Is that at your early age ukiwa mtoto mdogo?
Yes, nikiwa mtoto. I grew up there. Went to primary school there and then that would be for about 7 or 8 years actually.
So you also speak Luo very well?
Yes, I speak quite a bit of Luo. I like languages, by the way. I speak a bit of Kikamba, kizuri sana. Then of course I'm learning a bit of Kalenjin. I like languages. I speak a bit of Lingala. Lingala is from Congo. I'm very happy that Congo has been admitted.
Where did you learn Lingala?
From the music and from my friends. Yeah, the company that I kept as a teenager especially. We would listen to the music of Franco and, Tabule and all those, So I was able to pick, bits and pieces. Yeah. I love languages.
Wow.
Ile ilinishinda ni French. So nimesubstitute kidogo na Kijerumani kidogo cha kuomba maji pia. Yeah.
Na Kifaransa unajua kidogo ya kuomba maji.
Sipendi sana.
Lakini
kwa sababu ukiongea bonjour kama ça va. So hizo huwa naongea ama kile wanachanganya na Kilingala. Ukiona kitu kama friend wanasema camarade, so napenda lugha.
Unapenda lugha, unaonekana kabisa.
Yeah.
So Reuben, primary school umesema yote umesomea Kisumu ama kuna mahali ulibadilisha ukaenda?
Hapana, nimesomea yote Kisumu. Na what you need to know is nilienda shule nikiwa mtu mzima kidogo. I went to school when I was about 7.
7 years.
Yeah, because when I was 3 years, nikielekea 4 years, I became blind. And so that altered the time of starting school for most of my, for most of my early years. So nikasomea huko 7 years, kwa sababu siku hizo primary ilikuwa ni 7 years. Kamanya CPE ndio nikaenda kule Thika. Yeah.
Secondary.
Ndio. Na secondary pia ilikuwa ni 6 years.
6 years.
So unafanya 4 years O level alafu 2 years
A level.
Advanced level, yeah.
That's what you call form 5 and form 6.
Yes.
Ajua tu kupata hiyo system sisi.
Ilikuwa mzuri. Mtu alikuwa anatoka pengine amekomaa kidogo na pia umeonja the kind of learning that takes place at the university. So, yeah.
Now, what happened ndio ukapoteza uwezo wa kuona?
Okay, nilipata ugonjwa ambao siku hizi unatreatiwa rahisi sana, ugonjwa wa cataracts. Na cataracts ni kama some kind of misty thing ina develop hapo kwa macho, na ikiwa attended too quickly, of course, itatoka tu na utaendelea kuona. But if you take long, like that time wazazi wangu hawakujua what to do, so ikabidi
hawakukupeleka hospitali.
Walijaribu, lakini matibabu ya wakati ule pia hawakuwa na access kwa the hospitals that could take care of me. Wanaenda health center, wanaenda huku na kule. Hata wakajaribu, traditional healers na zile mitishamba, the herbs. So ninashukuru Mungu kwamba with time nilikubali tu. We were seated at a dinner table one evening and then nika reach out kula ugali wa Mluya kawaida, lakini nikaguza kando. So mama akashangaa, hey, kwani Reuben, are you going blind or what? Actually, little did she know I was.
Are you aware?
Yeah. Yeah, so cataracts ndio zilini affect. So ikabidi niende school for the blind.
In
So
Kisumu.
Kisumu. At a place called Kibos. Yeah.
Alafu ulipomaliza primary school ndio ukaenda shule gani for the blind?
Thika High School for the blind.
Or Thika High School.
Yeah.
How was it growing up when you're blind? Were you being, discriminated against? Were there these societal norms of lazima kuna kitu wazazi walifanya ama kuna kasa ama those kind of stories?
So interesting enough, Mrs. Kagoni, I never quite felt blind growing up. Kwa sababu wazazi wangu walinipenda. Siblings wangu walinipenda, so we mingled, we played childhood games, ukimbizana kwa wheelbarrow, tires, kati, blada, all those things.
You did?
Tulifanya. And so I never quite felt blind. Na it's only when I went to the school for the blind that nikaanza kutambua haya. So there's a different way of living life. Ndio nijifunze braille, ndio nijifunze jinsi ya kutumia typewriter, na vitu kama hizo. Unajua ile typewriter ya zamani. So things were different. Na the more I progressed, the more I realized that I was blind. Lakini as a child, we did everything together. Na mimi nashukuru Mungu kwa wazazi wangu. Kwa sababu hawakunibagua. Hawakuniona kama mtoto blind. Waliniona tu kama, every other ordinary child. So huo upendo, kukubalika, ndio kumefanya I am who I am.
True.
In fact, najua wazazi wengi ambao mtoto akiwa na ulemavu, ne mamo hithaga. So you hide the child, you don't know, almost you feel embarrassed kwamba maybe ni kasa, like in the Bible, the way the disciples of Jesus came to him and asked, whose sin was it that
Is
he
it
was
the
born
father
blind?
or the mother?
Yeah, was it his parents? His own sin. And Jesus says, none of them. Not his parents, not his own sin. And I say that because a lot of parents, maybe wale wana watoto walemavu, wanafikiri, nimehia. Some hidden sin somewhere that they have done, ndio mtoto amezaliwa hivyo. So it may be congenital, kwa sababu generational disabilities ziko, na it may also be diseases. So huwezi sema exactly kwamba ni sin.
Ni sin, kweli. Na ulipoenda university, I was researching about you, nikaona you went to Kenyatta University.
Yeah, correct.
Did you also feel like ulibaguliwa ukiwa university?
Actually, university ilikuwa a very good place. Kenyatta is one of the best universities in this country because right from my days, ilikuwa very inclusive. Today, if you go to that university, like several others now around the country, utapata kwamba persons with disability wako na special accommodation in terms of services. At least there are a few braille books, si mingi sana, but you also have assistive technology ambazo zinasaidia sana. Kuna software ambazo mtu anaweza tumia kusoma vitabu. So there's a lot more inclusion, but in our days ilikuwa kwamba unasomewa vitabu na marafiki. That was the norm. In fact, that's how I met my first wife. Because she was one of my readers.
Tell us about it.
Well,
where did the romance start?
No, well, nobody can predict romance. Romance is like an accident. But, after reading for me and helping me around.
You were in the same year?
No, she was 1 year behind me. So I realized that, we had some chemistry. I began to imagine, oh, wow, she doesn't mind doing this, but also she would go an extra mile and do other stuff for me. So I realized that something was budding. Yeah.
So before you realized something was budding, where did you meet the first time you met?
Okay, she was brought to my place to inquire about some meetings that were taking place in Rongai, around the Diguna area. And so, because I'm the one who used to go to Diguna, so I had the information. Nikampa. Tena, so akaenda, akasaidika. So it's when visiting Diguna one time that I began to realize, hey, this is not just my reader. This is a good person. She's even interested in the things I'm interested in, like missions and so on. Yeah.
So eventually you proposed to her when you finished
After like 1 year of interacting and so on. So yeah, nikamuuliza the big question. Yeah.
And she didn't turn you down.
Well, she kept me waiting for a week. You know, nitakwambia. You know, almost acting like.
And how was the waiting for you?
It was hard. It was so hard. Because you are wondering, sasa nikikataliwa na nimempenda, kutaendaje? Yeah, those were long days. But after like 5 or 6 days, kaja kusema, unataka jibu ya ile swali uliniuliza. So, akasema the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. How long did you date before you got married?
Almost 1.5 or 2 years. Yeah. Because now we began to relate towards the last year of my college. Ndio nigoje amalize and so on. Yeah, kaanza kufundisha. That's when I was teaching at Mary Hill. So, yeah. Yeah, nilipomaliza shule basi, it was time to say, yeah.
Hata yeye alikuwa mwalimu?
Hapana, yeye alikuwa administrator, secretarial kind of training. So it was very complimentary. She's the only person who types faster than me that I know. Because mimi nilikuwa nafanya 60 to 65, yeah, alikuwa nafanya 70 to 80 words.
Wow.
So she always helped me with a lot of my manuscripts and so on. Yeah.
And hakukuwa na mtu ambaye anajaribu kukuambia, hapana, don't marry this guy, you see he's blind?
Actually, there were more people trying to convince her than me. Kwamba, you know, huyu ni wa kabila lingine, huyu ni blind, but she would hear none of it. Yeah, she had made up her mind. Nilisoma diary yake, now she's gone to be with the Lord. Nilisoma diary yake akieleza hiyo jani yote. Yeah, so yeah, people tried to discourage her, but she would hear none of it. Yeah.
The day you wedded her, how was that feeling?
The heavens came down. Yeah, that was a great day. I can tell you, in terms of, you know, marrying somebody you love, the day has come, you've waited for it. For me, it was really a great day. Yeah.
How long were you married before she passed on?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
Is marriage beautiful? Is marriage a beautiful thing?
Oh, it is beautiful, but I will say with a caveat. Beautiful if you find the right person, because a lot of people are marrying the wrong people. That I cannot fear to tell you. So people are attracted to marriage for different reasons. Unapata mtu ameoa kwa sababu ya sura, kwa sababu ya mali, maybe kwa sababu they messed up wakapata mtoto. So yani kama unalazimisha. But when marriage is done for love, kwamba mmependana, your first friends, is a most beautiful thing. And I usually tell people, take time. Take time to know the person. Because, you know, we go to school for everything else, isipokuwa marriage. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, the legendary Reuben Kigame. Tukova turugamio hanini tu. Tukishokereria Reuben, we want to know more about your music, how you got into music, and of course, I know you're aspiring to be the 5th president of this country. So Reuben yagukorwo agitwira horo cio makiria, but ne thutha wa gukumenyithia ungicinda atia eka ici ithano turaria horo wacio kuria mwena wa Nanyuki. Usiende mbali.
Wĩ mũikari wa USA na nĩ wendaga kũigithia mwena wa Kenya, rĩu wĩna kanya ga kwĩhotanĩra eka 5 cia mũgũnda 5 good acres thĩinĩ wa kĩhĩtahĩtano kĩretwo Bamba Shamba na AMG Realtors Limited. Nĩgetha wĩgwatĩre raffle ticket ũrabatara o kũrĩha ciringi 50,000 kana $500 nĩguo kwĩgwatĩra raffle ticket ĩmwe. O ũrĩa ũragũra ona kana gũthiĩ na mbere na kũrĩha kĩaya gĩaku, noguo wĩna mĩeke mĩingĩ ya kũhotana eka icio 5. Kwĩna iheo cia o wiki nĩcio shopping vouchers cia Walmart na Amazon. Oho kwĩna iheo cia o mweri including air return tickets, holidays, cia 50 by 100 na ingĩ nyingĩ. Muikari wa USA ndugatigwo na thutha, oya mweke wa pekee wihotanire 5 acres na nyuki na iheo ingĩ nyingĩ. Hũrĩra AMG through Martin kũhĩtũkĩra namba yake nĩyo 0716490653. Bamba shamba kuma AMG Realtors Limited. Mĩkana na mawatho kũhũthĩka.
The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. Well, get ready to read several pages because this year Bountiful Safaris presents to you 22 destinations for 2022. Discover all the hidden gems that travel has to offer, from South Africa to Mauritius to Seychelles. The best part? You don't have to have all the money at once. Simply opt in for our Lipa Pole Pole option, where you can pay smaller installments as an individual or a group, save up, and explore the world as you please. You can even save up for your parents. Contact Bountiful Safaris on 0724 840 482 or 0724 592 707. You may also reach us at info@bountifulsafaris.com. Bountiful Safaris. Dream, explore, discover.
Today, tunyitete ugeni the Legendary Reuben Kigame. Ni umui na watu wengi sana wanakujua kwa sababu ya muziki. Even ninaona kwamba the former president Mwai Kibaki give you an award because
the
of your
Order of the Grand Warrior.
Yes.
It was a shock. Because kwanza sikujua kwamba Kibaki ananijua. So alinipa award ya music and media.
Music and media.
Contribution yangu kwa music and media. Mimi sikuwahi jua kwamba hata mambo yangu ya media yanaonekana. So because I had worked with different stations, yes, but I had now set up my own. Na I was only about maybe 5 years into my own media house. Ndio akanipa hiyo award. So nilishukuru sana. That's the one time I felt appreciated na nchi. Of course, besides kuona my music being played by the army band, by the police bands, by many choirs and you know, in the churches. So niliona kama Mungu amenibariki sana. Alini humble sana na hilo jambo. Yeah.
Reuben, when did you start your music career? When did you realize, hey, I have a talent?
You know, Sister Monica, I actually have never started a music career because I just sing. I sing because I like to worship through music and I like to tell stories through music. So the truth of the matter is
it's more of
I
a
never appointed
ministry.
I never appointed myself at sasa naingia music career. No. So I found myself singing. Of course, then my teachers discovered me.
When did you
in primary
find
school, as early as primary school. Hata nyumbani kabla niingie primary school, you know, tulikuwa tunaimba. Na sasa kule shuleni ndio nikagundua kuna music instruments. Nyumbani nilikuwa tunajua darama peke yake.
Ukahura darama.
Ile anene. You know, kama ile ya Wakorino. Nilipenda sana. My brother had a band of his own. Lakini yani ndio uweze kuelewa how it works. Ilikuwa ngumu sana. Angenionyesha this is a guitar, this is a you know, a chime and so on. But ni shule ndio sasa nilipata exposure kwa piano, kwa the real drum sets, na hata vile nyimbo inapangwa kwa parts, ati soprano, alto, tenor, bass, sasa hiyo yote ilikuwa kwa shule. So it's only later on sasa nikiwa shuleni ndio nikaanza kuexperiment na, you know, kuform my own small group. So kama primary school, I formed my own small band. Tuka, you know, ya watu kama wanne hivi. Just singing the popular songs. Za juu ya nchi, juu ya, you know, events, juu ya wasichana, juu ya chakula. But and some, of course, about God. I was not born again then. But when I got to high school, I got born again. Na ikawa sasa I'm beginning to sing. Yeah. More.
So your first album,
Yeah.
Reuben, ulitoa mwaka gani?
So nilirekodi mwaka wa 1987. I was 21 then.
21 years.
Yes. So nilirekodia pale Transworld Radio. A friend of mine sponsored, alikuwa amenipata naimba kwa youth camp mahali na amesikia kwa shule. So akanipeleka studio. That was the first time. Ilikuwa a very, very, very great experience. Ya pili nilifanyia Germany.
The first album, kuna wimbo ambayo ili hit ama wacha tutumie lugha ya kisasa, ili hit.
Monica, I need to tell you that from my very early age, I was somebody who stretches the rubber band a bit. So makanisa, the church was used to the 4-part harmony ile ya choir, you know. But I began to do a bit more contemporary arrangements kwa music. So it sounded a bit popish, the way people would describe pop. But you see, genres are just that. Kwa watu wanasema sijui hii ni Christian music, but the style has nothing to do with you know what is Christian. And it's a culture. Music is cultural. So nakumbuka wimbo kama Oh what a mighty God we have. Oh how majestic is his name. So it leaned between country and western and a bit African. So lakini kwa hiyo album kulikuwa na maballad, kulikuwa na a bit of reggae, kulikuwa na you know, a bit of rumba kidogo. But at that time, what I need to tell you is the church was not quite ready for it. Because walikuwa naona ni kama nimetoka nje. So at the university nilikuwa naonekana kama that Christian secular singer. Yeah. So, and I'm one of those that began to push music towards the direction of the contemporary. So that by the time Mary Atieno, who was in my band in high school, goes to IFC Jericho, they pull, you know, the South African Soul Brothers effect with Isaiah Simeha and so on. They had that IFC Jericho choir. Adamu na Eva walitenda. All that was partly because of my style of songwriting. But now people began to find the freedom to use guitars in a new way, to use the drum set in a new way. You know, before it was just really that kila mtu ata uchuku, and you had this organ playing do, you know. But so we stretched it, and I'm glad the kind of music you enjoy on radio and in church today in Kenya and around Africa, it was born out of a lot of hard work and rejection and so on. And that's why, for me as a pioneer, hata ingawa watu wana criticize, why are you going into politics, why are you going into social activism, you know, I believe that Mungu ametuita kutumika mahali tuko in the best way possible. So for example, we kama ni daktari, you need to be the best Christian doctor that there will ever be. You need to be the best teacher, the best lawyer, and I want to be the best musician, and I want to be the best politician. In fact, I want to be the best leader.
Yes.
Because when you combine the love of God and the love of people, you know, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself.
Yes.
Those two qualities make great leadership.
True.
And so, mimi husema kwamba shida ambayo tumejiletea ni kutenganisha, so that one side unasema ni Ukristo na hii ni siasa ama everyday living. And we accept that someone can be a Christian and a doctor, but ikifika mahali pa leadership ama siasa, hiyo endelea kuimba, endelea kuhubiri.
Hiyo si lane yako.
Imagine, that's how people view me. And we'll talk about politics another time. But I have loved what God has done through my music. Nilirecord album yangu ya 29 mwaka wa 2019 kabla COVID. I've been working on the 30th, although imekuwa slow, but I've also had to pause kidogo kwa sababu ya mambo ya the leadership.
leadership. In total uko na nyimbo kama ngapi? maybe unaweza, maybe you've lost count.
Monica hata sijui, lakini
Which is your
quite a
favorite?
few hundreds or maybe early thousands. Yeah. You know, kuuliza favorite ni kama kuuliza
Your favorite
mzazi mtoto mtoto gani unapenda kuliko mwingine. But for different occasions ina depend. Kwa mfano right now for me wimbo ambao nime-release recently unanijenga sana ni ule lipo tumaini kwa mti ulokatwa, maana ukikatwa utachipuka tena. This is written in Tarab, and if you see me in my kanzu and so on, it's because I like Tarab, I like culture, but the message is in the midst of hopelessness. You know, people who have given up and so on. God brings hope, rebirth and renewal. Because Job alikuwa anasema hata mti ukikatwa bado utashoot again. You know, it develops that little shoot at the smell of water. So nimekuwa mtu wa kutafuta kuletea society hope. Even when we did Huniachi, for example, which has really
Huniachi kidogo tusikie.
Nilikuwa nangoja uniimbie kidogo. Umeahidi ewe Bwana huniachi. Doke ina nini? Hadi mwisho wa dahari ulisema huniachi. So when I asked Gloria to come and sing the verses for me, verse 1 and 3. By the way, alikuwa at a very difficult time. Yeye mwenyewe katika maisha yake alikuwa broken, yani she was going through a lot. So it became a song of encouragement, not just for me, but for her. And it has become a song of encouragement for so many people.
Many others.
Yeah, so I take music as healing, as therapy, as something that, you know, God can use even for healing, physically, even mentally.
But Reuben, you cannot leave this table without singing to us, Bwana ni mchungaji wangu.
Hiya. That one you know? Okay.
I know, but I'm not gifted with singing.
Mchungaji wangu sitapungukiwa kitu. That one.
Yes.
So, hakika wema nazo fadhili zitanifuata mimi, nitakaa nyumbani mwa Bwana siku zote za maisha yangu. From Psalm 23.
Yes.
Yeah.
That for me is my favorite.
Wow.
And then this one, Sweet Bunyore.
Where do you come from?
I come from Muranga.
So we should be singing Sweet Muranga.
Yes.
Do you remember me? And if I come, will you receive me? Oh, sweet Bunyore, have you a place for me? Or am I just a child of faith? You should have told me to bring my guitar. Next time.
Next time. You mix a little bit of country. You've talked about reggae.
Yes,
you've talked about ballad.
I even do rock. I do
rock.
rumba. You know, I've even tried classical. So it's a little bit of everything because God's gift of music is very diverse. If you go to Jamaica, of course, they have their genre. If you go to Central Kenya, they love Momboko and all of that, Benga in Nyanza. So God, you know, somebody wrote and said, on God's green earth, there is room for every color. Yeah, so God has so gifted the world with diversity. The problem is that we begin to use that diversity now to divide one another.
True.
Yeah.
Aya, Reuben, as much as you sing as a ministry, does music pay? Does it put food on your table?
It can, it should. To a small extent, it has. But it depends a lot on the environment in which you operate that music. So, for example, I have had issues with the copyright societies and all these CMOs that collect royalties on our behalf. And last year, I had to go public because looking at 12 years of doing music in Kenya, and people think I'm a millionaire. You know, in fact, if I told you, as Monica today, that I have never made $1 million through my music, you'd say I'm lying to you.
You have never made $1 million
In
through music?
the years of doing, in terms of royalties, I've never, I can never count royalties beyond, say, 250,000.
In
And
all
it's-
your years?
Yes, and it's because while a few people make them, a lot of us are stolen from. And maybe people think because of our visual disability, but also because of being away from Nairobi, maybe because of not fighting or not bribing, that they can, go around. And it has been very bad. So I had to go public because I was speaking not just for me, but na wengi sana ambao wamenyanyaswa. So nikaanza kuzungumzia serikali, nikaanza kupush kabisa. So last year nilipoanza kuona some movement, nilishukuru Mungu sana. In fact, recently kwa sababu ya hii bill ya parliament imepitishwa, na vile vile the appointment of mtu kama Ezekiel Mutua, tunaanza kuona tumaini kidogo, lakini the filth and the rot because of the cartels and the stealing in the music industry ni kama ile ya kahawa na majani.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the same. So that mkulima na musician wanakuwa exploited the same. So nilikuwa naambia rafiki yangu, kwa mfano, for every 10 shillings that is paid out, mwanamuziki atapata maybe, ikiwa mingi sana, maybe 1 shilling and 50 cents ama 2 shillings out of 10. The rest inaenda kwa the middlemen na kampuni ya communication. Yeah, it's a pity.
It's a pity.
It is a pity.
It is a pity kwamba wewe ndiye you've come up with the song, you've composed it,
Yes, and you've recorded everything. Yeah.
And you only get a shilling.
A shilling to a shilling and a half.
Oh,
yeah.
That's okay. Na Reuben, wakati unaangalia zile nyimbo za kisasa wa musicians wanaimba. My Swahili is not very good because I come from Bara. Rĩrĩa kuona nyĩmbo iria irainwo thikũ ici, be it gospel or even secular, do you feel we're still along the right path, or you feel like, ni kama tumesahau muziki ni nini?
Iwe atiriri. Right kana wrong ni relative terms. Todo music ni cultural, ni cultural tool. Music hanaga kiferiti, ama kisu. Kisu unaweza kutumia kuchonga viazi, ama unaweza kutumia kisu kuua mtu.
Kweli.
So in terms of music ni utility, but I have both, positive and negative. Positively, a lot of musicians are working so hard, especially young people are really talented. Even the live performances and so on are all over the place. And there's growth, but there is too much aping of other people's styles, so that there are young people who feel successful because they can sing like an African American, a rapper out there, or dress like someone in Europe, or pull up the trouser like the Congolese guys. So we neglect our own traditional, African, local, Kenyan music very much. There is, I think Tabu Osusa wrote an encyclopedic book in Shades of Benga. Actually, when I bought the book, it's expensive.
Ifuku.
Yes, it's big and lots of pictures. So I expected a lot of historical type data, and I was a bit disappointed. But he did a good thing. Todo neare hire perspective cia weka music na context ya culture. Culture shito. So you could see he was saying, you know, if it's benga, you do benga for benga's sake. So I personally believe there is a lot of that, but more could be done. And then, of course, there is the other issue of cheap compositions, where somebody does not take time anafikiria tu, okay, leo jua imewaka sana, so unasikia wimbo imetokea jua ya Yesu. Ama mtu tu, it's so cheap. So a song you will listen to and maybe get excited about the beat, but it doesn't go beyond the beat and the dance. So reflective music, for example, I'm not saying I'm the best musician, but I get scared to see how people write some songs. Because they don't, like if it's scripture, they don't search the scriptures.
The scripture,
So utapata mtu atasema kwa wimbo ati nitaimba na nitacheza kama vile Daudi alicheza mpaka akatoa nguo. You see, the Bible doesn't say David no, it was an accident. But you know, that little interaction with scripture is very costly because unaeneza na mwingine atachukua na kuchukua na kuchukua, so you mislead. But also kuna maybe just carelessness kwa sababu you're rushing to the studio, you want also to be on the album cover. So good music is costly, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes money, it takes consultation. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I think we can talk about your music on and on and on and on. But Reuben, I really need to ask you this question. It's about your political ambitions, or rather your leadership ambitions. You are a presidential aspirant in this country. First, do you realize we do not like straightforward people? They are not popular to us. Do you realize
it is strange that you say that, because that is what I would call implicit thinking, because it's implied by virtue of our culture of politics, but it is not true. You know, I have never met somebody, for example, who likes to be lied to. We can call it expediency because of politics and so on. You know, wacha tuwadanganye ndio tu ishike, you know? But when somebody discovers you are lying to them, they'll run away from you very far.
But I think we will take years to discover that.
Well, I'm hoping not, because you see, that's why I'm saying it's implicit thinking.
Okay.
Ni kama kusema, kama Kenya hapa, ati usipotoa kitu, huwezi pata services. And yet there are people who give services without hiyo kitu kidogo. Because they are really good Kenyans out here. They are ni wengi, lakini they never get into office. So I've been told, if you run as a Christian politician, you know, political candidate, ati, you'll be compromising, you'll give up your faith, and so on. And I say this, Monica, I have been a Christian for the longest time. Kama ingekuwa ni compromise, by now, I'm sure, Monica, you would have heard. So much so that I've done business and even closed some business because of compromises. I have run a media house. I have run a school. You know, I've been employed to teach and so on. So the one thing that has been consistent is I hate shortcuts. I hate, you know, shortcuts. I hate lies and so on. And if you look at the politics of Kenya, although it is an accepted norm, kwamba lazima udanganye, lazima ubribe, lazima sijui, the thing is, for all the years we've done that, how helpful has it been? Ndio sababu tumeenda chini, chini, mpaka we have no country, actually.
True.
We are at a very bad place. And so if my candidature did nothing else, it will do three things. Moja, itaonyesha kwamba inawezekana kuwa Mkristo na uwe leader. Kumekuwa na wengi, ni vile tu Kenya tumekataa. Na hata hapa Kenya, kuna watu fulani ambao, yani, unajua imani yao ndio imefanya Ukienda utapata services kwenye polisi, kwenye afisi za state, kwenye biashara, kuna wanabiashara waaminifu, unajua hawatakuibia. So they are there. The issue is we've lost our values. So I want to demonstrate that it is possible to be a Christian and a politician. Secondly, I would like to demonstrate that according to the Constitution and according to the provisions we have in Kenya, inawezekana mtu wa disability kurun for office. Unajua kuna wale wakiniona ati natetea kiti cha urais wananihurumia. Na nauliza wamekuwa wapi nikifundisha, nikiwa mtangazaji, nikitembea nchi za dunia, nikifanya mambo yangu, nikipika nyumbani, I've been wondering, where have they been? It's that they've not been exposed. The average vision ya mtu blind ni mtu amekaa kwa streets,
True.
hair, But that is not what a blind person or person living with disability is all about. I've gone to school, finishing my PhD now. Nobody asks how that happened. Lakini wacha usimame. Utaambiwa that is not for you. So I'm here to deconstruct the fact that, people like me are not supposed to be in leadership. And I'm hoping for the first time in the history of the world, you'll have a presidential candidate that also has visual disability. Because it's just that you don't need these eyes in order to lead.
True.
Actually, sengine naona haya macho ndio yako na shida kwa sababu unaona sana. Watu wanaona sana vitu vya mtu, wakiona ng'ombe ya mtu anataka, kiona gari la mtu anataka, kiona mke wa mtu anataka. So too much tamaa. So maybe imefika wakati wa kuongozwa na roho. There's a difference between vision and sight.
True.
And if I was to choose between vision and sight, I would choose vision anytime.
Yeah.
And there are many kinds of disabilities. I don't know if you were to choose between somebody who is morally disabled and somebody who is visually, so I'm here to deconstruct that. But most of all, I want to speak hope to especially every young person watching, because a lot of people are afraid of facing giants. Ukimwambia ati ukue MCA, wanaona Asha, hiyo ni ya wale wanaendanga Kenya High School ama wanaendanga Alliance. But you can go to a school in Murang'a or Nyandarua and become the greatest MCA and then MP. You can become the greatest president of this country.
True.
So presidency is not for a few families. And I would like to deconstruct that. Most of all, I want to deconstruct it at the point of where, watu wamekataa kutumikia wananchi. As in, yes, you go into office, but then you serve yourself. I would like to reverse things so that people come first. Then unite the country. Then restore values. Then bring development that is focused on the people. Yes.
Okay. Kuna mtu anajiuliza kwa nini hukuanzia maybe governor or MP or senator and feels like, being a presidential candidate is too ambitious. Maybe you would have started somewhere.
There are two ways of engaging leadership. One is progressive, where you build slowly, you discover, you sort of test the waters and so on. That way, for that, you need maybe 50 or 60 years in terms of progressive career development. And it's like, the way you start with a shop and then you build towards a supermarket and so on. And that's one way of looking at leadership. But there is another way of looking at leadership, and that is, redemptive. Where, for example, if a house is on fire, you don't first go to school to learn how to put out a fire. You jump in because you can see that is a human being there.
Who needs
Na
to be...
sitaenda kusoma kitabu ya fire rescue kwanza ndio nifanye kitu. So in terms of what people don't know is that I've been in the political space without positions for so long. I ran in 2013, by the way, in Vihiga gubernatorial seat. Not many people hata wanajua. And I learned a lot. I wanted to give some county solutions. So what I did was pass over my manifestos to my successors, had time to talk to them and so on. Lakini, why run for president now? Because, one, Kenya is in a firefighting situation. We need a rescue operation, not even so much what you'd call 30 years of experience. You need somebody who can unite the country, somebody who is like a symbol of change, hope, restoration, healing, kwa sababu we are so divided. In fact, even the current talk of two horses and so on, ina to divide. So inaanza kuwa huyu ni wa Raila, huyu ni wa Ruto, huyu ni wa Kalonzo, huyu ni wa Musalia. You know, that kind of leadership will not work in our rescue operation right now. But secondly, do I have answers for the nation? That is maybe something that needs to be measured. Besides uniting and being a symbol of hope, unity, peace, and all of that, I am a teacher of world history and also current affairs. I'm a communicator and so on. And I've been looking at Kenya from independence until now, and I have seen where we went wrong. A lot of people are wanting us to do away with our history. We can't. In fact, we never quite got independence, by the way. We just had, you know, a patch up. So we quickly, you know, the colonialists quickly put together people who agreed with them and formed a government. Soon, there was strife. That's why you talk about the Kenyatta, Jaramogi strife. And all the infighting to Moi, the one-party state, and all of that. So we've really never had a nation. And so if experience, by experience we mean what we've had, kwamba, you know, Kigame lacks experience. I just ask the question, and what has the experience of my predecessors brought us to? Because development and so on is, yes, it's good to develop roads and bridges and railways, but the people are still hungry. People are still without education. People are still without electricity in some places. You have buildings called hospitals without services.
True.
And all of that. So you need
young people have no jobs.
No jobs, and a lot dropping out at class 8. You pay your fees for a college student, lakini he's starving in the dorm. So the question is, how can we reverse this? Now, answers to that question, I have.
You have them.
And it's not an answer I want for Vihiga County only. I want the same answer for Wajir, for Turkana, for Meru, for Nairobi. You know, I want the same answers. And those answers implies doing things differently. Not the way we have done them. I think it was Albert Einstein who said it's madness to do things the same way and expect different results. So we have tried it all, from Moi to Kibaki to the Jubilee government. We've tried different things. I think it's time to reverse the way we do government, and instead of so much focusing on the projects and so on, let's focus on the people. So that if you do a project, you ask how will it benefit someone from Kieni, how will it benefit someone from Marsabit, you know? And how can we create more jobs? You don't create jobs on the table. You go out by, you know, implementing devolution. And devolution is taking the marginalized areas and making them, bringing them to the center. So there are simple solutions like Turkana needs water. Why doesn't it have water? We are losing a lot of water going to the Indian Ocean. Why can't we tap that? Now, Nairobi has perennial problems of water, for example. And we have so much rain. Why is it that there are roofs, you know, that don't, you know, that have water that is not tapped?
True.
Why isn't it a law that you should never build a house without a water tank? Those simple things. How is it that solar, we have the sun throughout the year, and yet we don't invest more in solar? Even so, it's green energy is really good and so on. We are busy going hydro and so on. But in the rural area, all a mama needs is that panel. Na atachemsha maji yake, atakuwa na taa. You know, we can use that even for rural electrification. We can do street lighting and all of that. So it's not just about going green. It's the easiest way.
And the cheapest way.
Yes, and the cheapest. But even electricity itself, because of cartels, you know, the way the resale value of power and all of that, or artificial outages and so, you have all this. Like when the tower came down, you remember? You ask yourself, ni nini inaangusha tower ina collapse hivyo, boom. So a lot of sabotage and so on. So we need to clean up the system and put in office people that are responsible. We have a lot of Kenyans in the diaspora, by the way, that can answer the questions of Kenya. A lot of people in these universities that are never given a chance. And a lot of young people that should be in government, but wanaambiwa that youth ni leaders of tomorrow. But they are leading. Imagine wana lead hata uko university, you have students at Kenyatta University sending satellites into space. KU Cube. I mean, and I'm saying, honestly, why not just reverse this? Why is it that we're still dealing with hyacinth in Lake Victoria? And we can, you know, harvest that and even use hyacinth for other purposes. Why is it Kibera remains how it was, Mukuru, Kwanjenga, and all of that, you know, all these dumpings and so on, while we have all the answers around us? It is lack of will. And so we need leadership of will, that is people-centered, but most of all, a leadership that fears God above. Because, wacha nikwambie kitu Moni, kuna kitu katiba haiwezi kukupatia, na kuna kitu hata pesa haiwezi kukupatia, inaitwa self-control. And I tell you, the only thing that can give you self-control in this life is the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
True.
Because, you know, if you walk by the Spirit, you will not fulfill the desires of the flesh. Kuna wakati hata unataka kusema kitu, unapata roho wa Mungu amekufunika, amekunyamazisha. Ama you want to do something na kuambia, no, you are a child of God, you can't do that.
Okay. Ruben, allow me to interrupt you. And because Monene anashinda kiambia masaa. Do you feel as Kenyans tumejiletea haya mashida yote, especially in terms of leadership, because we are the same people who will vote these leaders in every now and then. We want popularity, not, you know, if you're not popular and your manifesto is very nice, we do not know you and we can't listen to you because you're not popular. Do you feel we are responsible? As ordinary Kenyans, we are responsible for all the leadership problems we are seeing in our country?
I don't think so. Okay, to some extent it is true, because we are. Sisi ndio tunachagua, alafu tunalia. Sisi ndio tunabaguana, alafu tunalia. Sisi ndio tunachukua pesa, alafu tunasema kuna corruption. So to some extent ni hivyo. But to another extent ni kwamba viongozi wamesoma wa Kenya, the few people, wamesoma wa Kenya wakajua, the only way to win an election is to bewitch the Kenyans, or to pumbaza them with resources. Why don't they give the unga and the mahindi at other times, wanangoja wakati wa elections? Yeah, so they know, ukipeana hiyo unga, so it's become like a mantra, wewe hujanipa, so you are not a good leader. Ni kama kubewitch mtu, kwa sababu you impoverish them, unawareduce, wanakuwa ni kama waomba-omba, alafu unawambia ili uondoke kwa umasikini, unichague. You see, there is no relationship between choosing and getting wealthy. Because every 5 years is the same. And that's why naambia wa Kenya, you know, this time around, nitakuwa kwa ballot na itakuwa different, lakini usiwahi kumwambia Mungu tena ati hakukuwa na alternative, kwa sababu this time there will be
na alternative.
Yes. You will never tell God that
there was no alternative.
Option. There is a real authentic option. Yes.
Haya, Ruben, tukimalizia, Ruben akiwa mtoto, akiwa primary, akiwa high school, akiwa university, Ruben the musician, Ruben the presidential candidate, the Reuben, the household name, what has been your highest moment and your lowest moment in life?
So, okay, so there have been maybe like two high moments. Moja nilivyokuambia ni wakati wa kuoa.
Ndio.
So that was a very high moment. Na ninashukuru Mungu for the life we had. Now, the other time was when you know, when I learned that I could actually take my PhD. Mi napenda kusoma, ni vile tu time ime So I was accepted, and I realized that the institution was so open for me. Mpaka they supported me. I hardly used Braille. It was all, there was so much support. Nikasema, haya, kumbe inawezekana hata kwa wengine. So for me, those are two I can name. In terms of low moments, there are many, but I'll name two. Moja ni when I lost, you know, the love of my life, Mercy. That was hard. It took me a long time to even realize that I could move on again and heal. You know, even when I remarried, bado nilikuwa na shida. Kwa sababu sikuwa nime accept hiyo loss. Now, that destroyed me quite a great deal. But another time is I'd applied a job. This is recurrent. I've applied like 6 or 7 times and let down. But this one time, I did the interview. I was even given leakage kwamba nilipita. I was the only one that passed, but I never saw the job. When I realized that it is because of my handicap, ilinishusha moyo sana. Ilinishusha moyo. And so, yeah, I think those are two I can name.
The two that you can name. Thank you so much, Reuben. Thank you so much. It's really an honor. Ni wega muno. And we wish you well.
Thank you.
We wish you well in everything. We wish you well, especially in your leadership ambitions.
Thank you.
And we really pray that maybe an ordinary Kenyan no ahiguke maitho one, surely there is an option. Yeah.
Nyonaga andũ magĩthiĩ Mount Kenya gũcaria kura.
Na nĩ ũthiĩte kuo?
Na thiaga hanini na negũthiĩ mũno. But ndĩna message kwĩ andũ a Mount Kenya. Whoever comes to ask for your vote, do me a favor. First of all, pray to God. Oria atĩrĩrĩ, mũndũ ũcio nĩ aceraga na Ngai. You know, does this person walk with God, hear from God, so that you can entrust your life to the person? Wacha hii Bwana asifiwe, wacha hii, you know. Anajua Mungu na anamuogopa. Ile mpaka Mungu anaweza kumuongelea mkataze vitu zingine. Pili, chagua mtu ambaye hata kuona kama mtu wa Mount Kenya. Kwa sababu nimejiuliza swali, Monica. Hii kuendeleza Kenya, kujenga Turkana, kujenga Kisii, kujenga Mombasa, na Central in Mount Kenya imejaa technocrats, professionals, you know, business people. Huko kutajengwa na nani? So, I need Mount Kenya to choose somebody ambaye atawaruhusu ama encourage kuinvest na kuishi anywhere in Kenya without having to pack and move every 5 years.
Every 5 years, yes.
Because this is their home.
Yeah.
So I don't look at them as Adoa Mount Kenya. I look at them as Kenyans. And what I want is protection. Protection of their properties. Protection of their investments. You know, huwezi kuinua maskini wa chini kwa kupunish maskini ambaye ame-earn, sorry, kwa kupunish yule ako na kitu, lakini ame-earn honestly.
Honestly, yes.
There is honestly gained wealth.
Yeah.
hiyo lazima iwe protected. Ile ambayo mimi nitataka tuongee na wale ambao wako na shida ni wale wamechukua kile ambacho si chao.
Kweli.
Lakini kuna watu wako na wealth, lazima hiyo wealth iwe protected. Ndio sasa itrickle iweze kufikia
yule ako chini.
Na ainuke, you know, because they are the ones who will create jobs. Wafungulie nchi na make permits easy, make the environment easy to invest, wape certain cuts, tax cuts, ili wajenge nchi. Me, that's how my message to Mount Kenya. Don't just vote mimi ni wa huku na huku. No. Look at how your life will change. Na somebody who fears God. That's why I say, mimi sitawalazimisha mnipigie kura. But honestly, that is how I look at you. As my brother, my sister, my mother, my father. Yes.
Thank you so much, Reuben. Tukikuita tena utarudi hapa kwa meza.
Kabisa, meza ya Kagoni.
Meza ya Kagoni. So thank you so much. We wish you well once again.
Thank you.
And thank you for honoring this invitation. Na we celebrate you, as a legend in this country.
Thank you, Monica.
We may not honor you enough. Maybe the government may not recognize you enough, but be assured that tukiwa kule nyumbani tunasikiza nyimbo zako.
Asante.
Tunakimbia pale YouTube, tunatafuta channel yako.
Asante.
Na kabla uende ni vizuri, unajua sisi ni digital platform.
Yes,
ni vizuri uambie watu, do you have a YouTube channel? Where can they support your ministry through the YouTube channel?
Yeah, so there are 3 ways of supporting what I'm doing. One is to pray for me, because I need the prayers of the saints.
Yeah.
Ukinifunika na maombi umenifanyia kitu kikubwa sana. Kwa sababu vita ni vingi. By the way, I've even been threatened. Like 2 times. But secondly, you can subscribe now to my YouTube channel. It's Reuben Kigame TV. Or follow me on Twitter at Reuben Kigame, or Reuben Kigame for President on Facebook. Or, you know, for those who may have a bag of maize, or, you know, 100 bob that they would want to give to my campaign.
Yes.
I do have a pay bill number, and that is 8041415. Apple, because I'm a people candidate, I've come this far because of the support of friends. So 8041415, and then for the account, just put your name.
Your name, okay.
Yeah, so that we can acknowledge you and, you know, even thank God for you. And so I do believe that I'm accessible. Ukiniandikia nitakujibu hata kwa Messenger, ama Twitter, ama Facebook. So I love every Kenyan. And I hope that God gives us a chance to serve them. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Haya, na Mwirori, thank you so much. Nugushagura metha ya Kagoni. Tafadhali comment, like, share the video, and support Reuben Kigame by with the channel ine yake, subscribe to his channel, and also support his campaign via the pay bill number that he has given you. Jitago Monica Kagoni, na ino ni metha ya Kagoni.